Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast. It's all about football, and we are most definitely back in the building. It seems like this week we've got the Three Musketeers. One short, yes, the Three Musketeers this week. So we're going to say welcome back, Stone.
That's so good.
Last week, my friend. All good? Hey, Stoney, all good? We missed you last week.
I don't think he can hear us. Oh, he's gone.
What happened to Stoney?
I don't know.
He'll be back. All right. Good evening to Brees. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I just had a family barbecue. So, again, glad to be back. Glad to be talking about our beloved club, Liverpool.
That's right. That's what I like to hear. Gonna say good evening. Big shouts goes out to Mr. Mark Foster. Thanks a lot, Mark. Been doing a lot behind the scenes for us. Can't leave him out an inch. Yeah, so Stoney was saying, man, we missed you last week, man. All good, bro?
Oh, I don't think he can hear us.
He was talking to me beforehand. I don't know what's happened. I think you heard about the quiz and got a bit quiet. Can you hear us now, Stoney?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you
just
can
had
hear
a little
us.
technical
Right,
issue,
okay.
so I'm back now.
All right, we'll try again now. We missed you last week, Stoney. How you doing, brother?
I'm fine, thank you very much, sir. I'm good.
Good to have you back, man. Good to have you back as always. All right, so first off, we are going to kick off with a bit of news about one of our former players berating one of our now players. So it's all about I'll just read this out. All right, then. So what's far less common is a former player of a club criticising one of the team's current stars. Yet that is how Champions League and treble-winning midfielder Dietmar Hamann has recently treated Thiago Alcantara, and not for the first time. He says, I don't understand the hype about Thiago. For me, he is one of the most overrated players in European football. When things are going well, you have a lot of possession, he's a good player. But when push comes to shove, you don't see him. What do you feel about that, gentlemen? Is he right? Is he wrong? Has he got some points right? Has he got some points wrong?
Okay, so I will start off by saying when we signed Thiago, I wasn't too sure. I was a big skeptical about the signing, especially after losing Wijnaldum. And I was kind of looking for the like for like. Because again, when Thiago came, it wasn't really the Klopp style or the Liverpool style of playing. And when he came, he had a few injury issues. He wasn't really getting into the team. And I was thinking to myself, is this money well spent? Are we kind of looking at someone that, would have to probably not even go out on loan, but someone that's just going to just disappear from the kind of Liverpool squad? And this season, anyway, he's kind of proved his worth, and he has changed his game, and he's openly said, he had to really kind of dig deep and again, look at the kind of English Premier League and say, okay, it's not just about the kind of I'd say the kind of composer, the kind of conductor type of way of playing football. You have to get stuck in, and that's what he's done. In terms of what Didi said about him not turning up on big occasions, he turned up, especially against Man City in the semi-final, and he had an outstanding game. Injuries in the kind of latter stage of this season, and of course Champions League, hampered his kind of overall performance. And again, fans are very fickle and they'll only remember your last game. But overall, I think it's been a great signing, a great addition to the Premiership. And I kind of just hope that we can strengthen accordingly and still have Thiago in the fold.
Okay, Stoney.
Yeah, listen, I think that was a very good assessment there that was made there. I mean, look, we're both looking at two midfielders that both played for Bayern Munich and both played for Liverpool, or played for Liverpool, because Thiago's still with us. I think when we purchased Dietmar Hamann from Newcastle, wasn't it? I think it was a wonderful servant for us as well. Graced the midfield. And I think we're just looking at the bigger picture. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. When we did purchase Thiago, I think it was something at the time that we actually needed. I know our midfield was quite depleted, and we were probably looking for an additional midfield player with experience. So we've got Fabinho, obviously we had Henderson, and we had Milner as well. With Gini moving on, we did need another player in midfield. And look, I think he's been a good acquisition as well. I don't know what people expected from him. The man's got silverware decorated, silky player. A completely different midfielder than I'd probably give an example to Coutinho. So we're not going to have anybody driving with the ball. What he does have is someone who can dictate the midfield, slow down the pace. I think his vision in passing short and long range passing has actually helped us. So I don't think he can be deemed as an unsuccessful purchase. I welcome it. And as you said, I still think it's a good purchase for us as well. But as you said, Dietmar Hamann is entitled to his own opinion. Not everybody's going to agree with him. I don't anyway. Not everybody's going to agree with him. So it is what it is.
Okay. And Mark Foster is saying after his hip replacement, he young again, Thiago. Yeah, no. I would have to disagree with Hamann. I think Hammond's looking at probably wanting a more leggy midfielder, someone who puts himself about a bit more, does a bit more running. That's not Thiago's game, man. And what I've seen from Thiago, what I've noticed, and what I have highlighted before is that he's one of them players who, when he's calling for the ball, he knows what he's already planned to do with the ball. He's seen where he wants to put the ball beforehand. He's not a guy who calls for the ball, gets it, and then tries to look, what should I do with it now? He's already made, he's 2-3 moves ahead already. Yeah. And I love how he gets the ball in the tightest and makes space for himself. I love them kind of players, man. I think he's quality, and he's a good player to have in your team. Like you said, to dictate and run the game for you. I must say.
Yeah, so yeah I don't know in terms of. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Artie. I don't. When Dietmar Hamann was making that comment, I wonder if he was probably trying to compare the Thiago that we have now at Liverpool to the Thiago how he was when he was at Barcelona. Completely different players. I mean, even at Barcelona when he was there at that young age, he was still able to dictate games as well. But I agree with you 100%. Him coming in, I believe he was obviously purchased to have first team football, but I think he'll obviously help the likes of Harvey Elliott. I think he'll help the likes of Curtis Jones as well. We've obviously seen the different stages of development that they're currently having with us. So if you've got somebody with that form of experience, seniority as well, and as you said, highly decorated, that can only benefit us. So I still think it's good. But yeah, sorry for interrupting you.
No problem. So you're saying that against Real Madrid, he completed 11 progressive passes. So that's those which move the ball forward 10 yards or more into the box. The most of any player on either side. Similarly, his total of 10 passes into the final third was only matched by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Clearly, there is some overlap in those two statistics, but the match in Paris was one of only 17 instances in the 51 matches Liverpool played in the league and Europe in this season in which one of their players hit double figures for both metrics.
Well, I mean, again, you can see that Klopp has a lot of faith because, again, when the days and hours were running down leading up to the Champions League final, it was all about Thiago and Fab to see if they were going to be fit. And again, it was a risk playing Thiago especially, but again, it just proves how much faith Klopp has in Thiago. And again, it was a signing that, again, as I said before, it was a bit out of the blue. But again, he's he is a player that has improved Liverpool. That's now shown a different way of playing. And again, we can't keep playing this quote unquote rock and roll thunder type of football. There's got to be times where we have to dictate play. Yes. And Thiago, especially at Bayern, in that final where they played, I can't remember the team that Bayern played. No, it was PSG when literally Bayern actually won the win a Champions League. Thiago
Yeah.
just dictated play, and again that probably just literally made everything more concrete in terms of why Klopp wanted him at Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay. Gonna say good evening, Mr. Solo from the Man United Agenda. How you doing, sir? And he says also that let's hope you win nothing next season. And he says he goes on to say, I believe you guys will be well up for next season as you missed out on the bigger trophies. I think he's having a sly little dig there once again. And what trophies did you not miss out on, Solo, last season? and what trophies did you miss out on the season before? And the season before that again?
And literally, I just want to clarify a few things. Remember, Liverpool last year had crazy amounts of injuries, key injuries to key players. We were playing Hendo and Fab at centre back. So compared to last season, winning the domestic double, that's a fantastic season. Let's not forget that.
Of course. Come on.
Yeah. And you're right saying it as well. If we look at that, and as he said, good evening, Solo. Thanks very much for tuning in as well. Even though you're from the Man United Agenda, we know that you've got a wealth of knowledge, and we also know that a lot of your comments are tongue in cheek, but we respect that either way as well. If we look at the bigger picture from Liverpool, I think if you look at I think it was 68 games, we only lost 4 games, So if people are out there to nitpick 4 games out of the 68, that for me is wonderful, and I'm confident. I'm extremely confident that the majority of teams globally would love to have a record like that. Would love to have actually been in a conversation that we were actually in. So I still think we had an amazing season as well, and we need to be proud of our club and our players.
Definitely, we were in conversations right to the last day of the season. Do you understand? Right through to the last day of the season, man. So yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
What was to say? Looking at the transfers going around at minutes, this next season is going to be a lot harder season. Okay, it's a good point. It all depends on who we bring in as well. That's what we have to look at. Depends on the acquisitions that we get. Are they going to be acquisitions that are ready now, or are they going to be acquisitions that we're looking to bring in the future? These are the things that we need to look at. So are we going to stay on par? Big signing. Well, Man City have already made their marquee signing with Haaland.
They've made 2 signings there, Remember they bought Julian Alvarez. That centre forward is kind of tasty. So as much as Haaland's going to bring possibly a different dimension to them as well, that Julian is a nice little forward for Argentina as well. So
they are definitely going for this. Definitely want to go for this Champions League. I can see that. Definitely. Okay, so we're going to move on to. Said on Tuesday, one such rumor emerged that set tongues wagging regarding the future of Liverpool midfielder Naby Keita. Like Mané and Salah, the Guinean is out of contract in 2023, and according to the French news, he is attracting interest from Paris Saint-Germain. As a result, with them claiming the League One side would be willing to spend 50 million euros, which is 42.5 million, to sign the midfielder. Do we let him go? Do we give him another season?
How old is he?
He's been talked about it quite a bit. Oh, Naby.
Is he 25, 26?
25,
26.
Yeah, 26. Yeah, 26.
Yeah, I mean, he came with a big reputation.
27.
He's 27. Okay, so literally, he came with a big reputation. Box to box, dynamic, energetic. Midfielder that could have done a lot of the Stevie G work in his prime. And of course, injuries and kind of adapting to to the Premiership kind of took its toll. Have we really seen the best out of Naby? I don't think so. And if it's true, 40, 50 million euros, I mean, that's I would take it. If it's 27, that is decent money. I wouldn't reject that, to be honest.
And Stoney?
I think I just have to be honest and stick to my word here. I think if you're a data analysis and you're into all of the stats, I think their figures would probably say that Naby's time at Liverpool has been a success. I said if you're into data analysis and stats, then you say it's been a success. Injuries.
Hold on, sorry to cut you there. Is that you talk about a personal success, or you talk about as a team that's won trophies as a success?
I think a combination of. So if we look at it as a player in terms of the games that he's actually played in and the trophies that he's actually been involved in collectively, that can be deemed as a success. And as I said, if you go back to looking at all of the stats, people can say his stats per game, shooting, passing, XYZ has also been a success as well. Let me move myself away from all of the stats and fluffiness. I think if we get anywhere near that figure that we actually purchased from him, let him move on. This is just my personal opinion. For whatever reason, the string of performances, injuries has probably hindered him probably playing at the level that we probably hoped. And I think he's probably shown that he can actually string a few games in succession. So I reckon we should just cash in and move on, purchase somewhere else. I think there's a lot of players in certain positions that we need to purchase for this season. We'll speak about that probably at a later date or probably later in the show as well. But if we get anywhere near that money that we purchased for Naby, I think we should take it.
And you see, that's the issue. Has like Naby strung together more than 10 games in a Liverpool shirt consecutively? And
you could almost
this
forget.
season, I think possibly he could have done it. I think he's been fit enough, but I don't think Klopp has rotated the squad. So it's not that he's not been fit. I think there's times he could have actually done it. I think it's just that Klopp has rotated the squad.
But even with that rotation as well, I don't think he's actually grasped or seized the opportunity that he's actually had in all of the games he's played. I cannot think, and anybody that's tuned into the show, please check me. Also, everybody on the panel, please check me as well. I can't think of a memorable game out of those 68 games, whatever percentage he's actually played. I cannot think of any of those games you could say, you know what, Naby had man of the match or Naby had important influence on that game. I'm finding it quite hard pressed to actually think about that. And as he said, I think the bigger picture is we've got a first 11, but it's important that we have a squad of players, and it's something that we probably haven't had in the past. So I see him as being a squad player, the same as Minamino or Ox, but I think we want more of that, more so considering how much we actually paid for him as well. So, I think it's a lot of money.
52.75 you paid for him.
A lot of money.
Yeah, so it's a lot of money. So Mark is saying we get 42 million back. He'd be happy with that. And he's saying that he'll definitely not get a red card. Yeah, I think to be honest, I think if we can get 42 million for him now, I think it'll be a good bit of business to get him in, to get that money in, and to move him on. But in saying that, there must be replacements coming in, because if you're talking about Mané, Ox, Origi, and Kane are all going, there must be some replacements coming in. Apart from already, we know we've got Carvalho. There must be some other replacements coming in. Have to be. Obviously, we intend to be challenging on all four fronts again next season. So, like Stoney just said, we're going to need a squad, and I think that we can get players out there with more reliability. Talking about injury-wise, who can play regular, we can rely on them. So, yeah, most definitely. Mark saying, I think now he needs a different midfield anyway. He not played in a starting lineup fully for 6 or 7 straight games, and that ain't going to help him. And 42 million towards Bellingham, please. I think we've been harping on about Bellingham for over a year now, I believe. We have been talking about it. And it might be some times to make some serious moves toward that. But would Dortmund let him go now that they've just lost Haaland? Who knows?
If the money's right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Salah So my thing is now the news is all we know about this already. He's not happy. Contract offer so far. The news then was that he was happy with the contract offer and he's going to sign. Now they're making statements that he's talking about he can't wait for next season to start because he's going to be here. And it seems like what he wants to do now is stay here, play his last season here, and move on a free the end of next season. But the disappointing thing for me is now he's saying he's willing to stay. He wants to stay in the Prem. So he's willing to go to another Prem team.
Yeah.
Me, there's only two places you could really look to go for me, really, and that's City and Chelsea. Because if you're talking his kind of wages, you can only be looking at City and Chelsea. Well, maybe
or Newcastle. Or Newcastle.
Yeah. Could you imagine it? Maximum on one wing, Salah on the other.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah. So how would you feel about that, Salah to staying one more season and leaving on a free? Us not getting no money for him, and then he goes to a rival.
All right, deep breath. Okay, look, I think I see the same situation with Salah as that's going to happen with Bobby. And I do believe that Salah's probably out there with his representatives, probably looking at the best deal and package for him. All right. So I'm thinking in my own head in terms of packaging. I could only see the only team in Italy that can possibly afford him is probably going to be Inter Milan. I can't see him going Juve. All right. It's probably going to be Inter Milan. I can't see him buying, wishing to play that type of money. So then we're looking at Spain. Barcelona, they must have about 1 million forwards at the moment as well. And we still don't know whether Lewandowski is going to go there. Forward line in terms of the top three at Real Madrid, I can't see them wanting to break up Vini, Benzema and Rodrigo up there and Valverde up there in the moment. So I can't see him actually going there. So that then leaves, if it is going to remain in the Premiership, Man City, as we were saying, they've got all of their forward line. So you're then looking at Chelsea. I would like to think that Salah is now thinking of what's actually happened with, I know they did two different players, right? I'd like to think Salah is now thinking of what's actually happened with Lukaku. He's gone to Italy. His numbers for Inter Milan and Belgium have been elite. He's gone back to Chelsea and it hasn't worked out. I don't know why Salah thinks it's probably going to work out if he goes there. But yeah, I can see Salah and Bobby being in the same situation where they're both going to leave on a free. That's my opinion anyway.
Okay.
I think it's very clever PR from the kind of Salah team, if it is true. And again, this is probably one of the reasons why, again, I'm kind of reading in between the lines, Mané probably wants to leave because of this whole up and down situation with Salah. Like Salah's been a great servant, for like Liverpool. And again, every player deserves the right money and the right package for them and their families, for generations to come. Do I think he's going to leave Liverpool? Eventually he will. If he's looking to run down the contract and just stay in the Premiership, I would prefer him go to Newcastle. If he's looking to like be a mercenary, then literally at least it's like, okay, cool. Then you know what? I rate you for that. You are just staying in the Prem for the money to literally, secure everything for your family. Cool. I can see him going
broke, bro.
Well, listen,
they ain't broke.
I know, but I mean, again, we have to kind of look at it as footballers and elite athletes. They're literally their world is completely different from literally what we would see as expensive or like outrageous. So there's like going to be certain things that we're not blessed to actually see behind the scenes. And if he is looking at another Premiership team, yes, you're absolutely right. He's looking at Chelsea, City, and possibly Newcastle. Again, is Pep going to be around long enough to literally implement certain things that Salah wants to probably be at City. I don't think so. I think Newcastle is more of a project if he is looking to stay. But how old is he? He's 29, 30. So 30. So this is his last big payday. So so again, why not cash out with the most amount of money? Because again, teams in the Premiership know exactly what he can do, and also as well, he knows what he can do in the Prem. If he's gonna go abroad, it's a different style of play. It's kind of different players, and it may take him a season or two to adapt to that. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a 32, 33-year-old whose legacy in another country has been tarnished. So, literally, why not stay in the Prem? But if he's going to stay in the Prem, let him kind of go to the Northeast.
Okay. So, Motaz, good evening, sir. Thank you for tuning in. And he's saying why everyone is attacking Salah and calling him greedy. What I understand is that Mané is also asking for 400k a week, and if he doesn't get it, he wants up. So he is greedy like Salah.
You know what? This again, football and elite athletes, and I keep going kind of back to this. It's a very short career. They've sacrificed so much to actually be at the top of their game. So if they're asking for 400,000 a week, and again, we know what these players can do. It's now up to Liverpool to say, do we want to break our kind of wage structure to satisfy the representatives for these individual players? It's either a yes or a no. If we don't, cool, we move them on. If we do, then we negotiate, and then again we go on for another 2-3 years until then Klopp would have to again still make that transition and literally make that kind of make Liverpool I'd say not a force again, but again there's kind of literally always going to be a cycle in football, regardless if Salah or Mané are going to be there. So do we save that money for for the up and coming talent, or do we spend the money secure our kind of big players and get people around them to kind of literally make that conveyor belt a little bit easier?
Okay, so all right. Speaking about this now as well, another thing I think we'd have to look at as well, before we move on to our next point. If we're talking about losing these players, so if we decide, right, we're not going to pay them, we're not going to break up wage structure. So that means Mané leaves as well as Salah leaves as well. We're talking about, all right, so Ox going, Origi going, and who else was he talking about going as well?
Minamino probably going.
Minamino might go as well, yeah. Nat is going to go as well. Losing a lot of players like that, bringing in players means that they have to then come in and adjust, because not everybody's going to come in and do a Luis Diaz for us.
Sure.
That's another thing we need to look at as well. Is, are these players going to be able to come in and fit into our style of play straight away? Are they going to have to get used to it? Normally, Klopp takes time with players when he brings them in. He doesn't just blood them straight away. It normally takes a bit of time. But if you lose so many players at one time, you are going to have to bring in quite a few players and try and get them into that mold at the same time, which could be a bit disruptive for us. So another one they've been talking about, gentlemen, is Harry Kane.
My guy, man. Listen, sorry, I've said it. We need someone in there that's again looking, as an out and out number 9. I'm sorry, in terms of how Bobby connects everyone together, that's great. When Mané goes, it's going to be a huge loss, huge loss. City have kind of gone and bought probably the hottest property bar Mbappe. We have to go in proper as well. And again, I'm not even saying that Spurs are gonna even sell him, but we have the money. We do have the money, and even if it's 80-90 million, we can make that back in shirt sales. We can kind of make that back with overseas tours. We can make that back in marketing and branding. So literally, let's not pretend Liverpool are poor, because we're not. Kane or someone like that type of ilk, Lewandowski, has to be at Liverpool. We have to make a statement. We have to make a statement because everyone keeps going, oh, okay, you've like won 2 domestic trophies, but you've not scored in any. But you know what? Yeah, they have kind of, they have a point. When we can, break down in terms of where we quote unquote lost the league against like the likes of Brentford and West Ham, with no disrespect. If we had a number 9, a Kane, Lewandowski, even a Song.
All right, hold on. Sorry to cut you. Let me just stick a pin right there. You keep saying that, but Kane wasn't even top goal scorer, Golden Boot winner. His teammate beat him, who doesn't even take penalties.
Listen, I don't care. Like Kane has proven for like 5 or 6 years that he's the real deal. He is the real deal.
What
like,
he can take good penalties.
Oh, come on, man. So, listen, if we can get Kane for 80 million, I think that's a bargain for a proven goal scorer in the Premiership.
I think that would be quite interesting as well. And I think my outlook on this is, I think Levy, was it 100 or 150? Was it 150 mil that Man City had wanted to purchase him for?
So they wanted to see.
Brilliant. So and Levy didn't even budge. Levy didn't even bat an eyelid. I think Conte has obviously showed his true self, and I'm glad that he's remained his normal character. If Harry Kane was to leave Spurs, or anybody was to put a bid in, Conte's walking. That means that project that Spurs are attempting to develop there is falling flat on the face. Personally, I don't want Harry Kane coming nowhere near Liverpool. Not even on Football Manager, not even on FIFA. I don't want him coming anywhere near us. He is not the guy from us. What I do appreciate is that you said either Harry Kane or Lewandowski or somebody like. I prefer the like. That latter is the only thing that I'd warm to, but not for me, Harry Kane. I know he scores goals, but for me, not for me, man.
But a question to you. So do you think Liverpool's style of play is now getting predictable now? And, we need someone that's very instinctive, especially in the final first, because in the final against Madrid, it looked like that we ran out of ideas.
I don't know. The only reason why
you can't say that, bro. The keeper played outstanding.
The only reason why I'd question that, right, is check this, all right? And as he said, I'm not heavily into stats, but look, we'll just throw a stat in here just for the sake of it, all right? In terms of if we were that predictable, as an example, and I know you've only just said as an example, all right? We had 24 shots against Real Madrid. That's not being predictable, Qatar was easily the man of the match from there. And the only other thing, if we're moving away from the game against Madrid, we've actually moved Mané from the left into the middle. Prior to that, it was Bobby and then Jota. So I think in terms of that predictability, if other people are being deemed as that, we've got Salah, Mané, Jota, Diaz, and Bobby that have all played in different positions, accommodating those 3 front line. So I think, if anything, we've actually showed versatility. I mean, look, I'm not a football coach, I'm not a football manager, but the way that Mané made that transition from the left into central this season, I think was absolutely a credit to him, credit to Klopp and our coaching staff as well. And I'm confident that whoever then takes that position next year will be able to create a different type of playing opportunity for us. So that's the only reason why I would disagree with that there in terms of us playing predictable up front.
So Mark says, Liverpool, we just don't pay big wages. It's not something that we do, which is true. But then, gentlemen, if we don't pay the big wages, can you then see us getting left behind like people like Arsenal? Because Arsenal could have got some big players, but they didn't do it because they won't pay the wages. And look at where they are now.
Look, I think the only thing I can go back and say as well is Tottenham were in an advanced position to purchase Diaz. Yeah, we did what we had to do and we got him over the line. I'm confident that our club and our recruitment team already looking at players to replace Mané and Salah if they do decide to move on. And you know what? That's probably why Klopp's decided to actually sign that new contract. He knows there's going to be a transition. He knows that there's going to be new players that we have to actually bring into the club as well. So I'm being honest. I'm really not concerned about it. I've said it on previous shows as well. Mané and Salah have been absolutely wonderful servants to our club. They came in with a presented project. And for me, they've actually met that project. We've been successful winning the league, the Champions League.
Definitely.
Thank you. And we've been in the conversation for all of these other cups as well. So if they do deserve to move on, I think they should move on with our blessing. And guess what? It's a tick box. You know, we probably had players. I remember years ago when we purchased Torres. I never in my wildest dreams thought we'd get Torres from Atletico Madrid. We had him, he moved on. The same thing when we got Xabi Alonso from Real Sociedad. I never ever thought we'd ever get a player like Xabi Alonso gracing the midfield. We had him and then he moved on. That is the nature of our club. We're a massive club. Players are always want to come to us. They may not be, like I'm only giving an example, like a Lebanovsky or somebody's in their prime, but then we've got other players that are on the fold underneath. And I'm confident that we'll still be able to attract them. And look at the bigger picture. As I said, we was in the conversation last season, and players are going to be out there salivating wanting to come to our club. So it's calm. I've got no concern about that, one bit.
And you're absolutely right. Klopp, when he kind of first came, he kind of had a project. He had a dream, and he bought the players that he believed that could fulfill that dream. And again, Salah and Mané literally have done us proud. And again, there's no player bigger than the club apart from Mbappe right now. So, yeah. Hey, you know what I mean? But, again, we've seen it with, prime Arsenal, prime United, players move on. And, it is down to the recruitment. It is down to the coaching. You can pick a gem from all of these divisions, from France or Germany or Spain or even in England. They are going to be players that are going to be there to actually, who would ever thought that, Liverpool would ever replace the goal threat of Torres with Salah. No one would have thought that. And there's always going to be someone that's actually going to be in the wings, waiting to kind of take the throne, either from Salah and Mané. 100%. It hurts me to even have this conversation, knowing that our top three players, Bobby, Mané, and Salah, could be going. But you know what? That's football. That's a circle of life. Yeah, it is what it is. We move on as a team, and of course, as at Klopp at the helm, have no doubt that he will literally bring in the right personnel for our team.
Okay, so Mark is saying I can't see Salah going back to Chelsea again. Good evening, Mr. Brighton, Mr. Fitzroy. How you doing, sir? Nice for you to join us. He says he doesn't want Kane either. Mark is saying it's not greedy. Football is a world of money. Now the club has to give it to the players, or if they don't, they leave. 007, nice to have you. Same thing I was saying, the lauded wage structure, we will end up like Arsenal. Mark is saying Ox, Mini, Nico, and Mané are all definitely going this season. And why would Kane come? He getting paid more than Salah is now. Maybe he is. Nunes, the younger Kane player, if you're talking like for like, that is definitely a player we are definitely going to talk about, because apparently the talk is that Liverpool are planning to do everything they can to sign Darwin Nunes. Liverpool continue to be linked with the move for Benfica striker Darwin Nunes. Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, and Real Madrid have also been credited with an interest in the striker, who scored 34 goals in 41 appearances last season. According to the Portuguese news outlet, Liverpool will do everything they can to try and bring Nunes to Anfield this summer. It's been claimed that Jurgen Klopp sees Nunes as the ideal replacement for Sadio Mané, who has been linked with the Manchester side exit. Nunes is definitely a player that I would definitely like to see in that red shirt. A very exciting player for me. I'd definitely like to see him in that red shirt. What do you guys reckon?
How old is he? 22.
Yeah, it's about 22. Yeah.
Does he need another season, or do you reckon him having another season in Benfica will be too late and everybody will be out for him?
Everybody would out for him, and his price will go up.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we're talking about earlier as well. And one of our WhatsApp groups was about Nkuku. So someone mentioned Nkuku, and they said,
Quality player.
someone said, give him another season. And my friend said the same thing. If he has another season like he's had this season, I think it's 51 appearances, 35 goals, and something like 22 assists. This price is going to skyrocket even more as well.
Right, I see what you mean.
Have you seen enough already to take that risk?
I mean, like, the risk is all about the money. Let's be calculated here now. If we're talking about 30-40 million in this day and age of like how football is, that's a calculated risk. And we all say that the foreign players are more are like cheaper than the British players, which is predominantly true. Let's not get it twisted. No one can replace Mané. Mané reminds me of George Weah back in the day. Strong, robust. He could just do everything. Like, you can't replace Mané, but you can bring someone in that's possibly gonna bring a different energy that will kind of bring a different problem to defenses. And again, it's a transitional period now for like Liverpool. So us as Liverpool fans, we kind of have to accept that. Listen, yes, we've not had the decades of success like United and like Arsenal, but you know what? We are still kind of top of the tree, with like City. And again, as I keep saying before, and literally you've alluded to it before, the recruitment. Anytime Liverpool are rumored to be after someone, 9 times out of 10 they are going to be right for our club. So yeah. I think so. It would be great signing. Try and get him in now so he can embed into the Liverpool philosophy, pre-season, etc.
Oh yeah, you have to get him in for pre-season. Have to.
Can if you don't mind, can I just be provocative with something here? If
be the first,
could you see Son fitting in with us at Liverpool?
I love Son. You know what? Son,
yeah,
100%.
I think Son plays a similar kind of game.
Yes, like
he plays a similar kind of game to our two wide guys, definitely.
Yeah, like Son would fit into Liverpool seamlessly, 100%. But again, I think Kane is more gettable. If I don't know if that's a word, but I think we can probably get more at Kane than Son.
Okay. Yes. And that's so interesting because even when you think about that, I know, well, to my knowledge, nobody's really made an approach for Son, and he seems quite settled at Spurs. But I think out of the two, he would probably seem more. I know how old is Son, 29. Regardless of his age, his numbers are really good as well, right? I reckon if there was a bid, he would probably seem more achievable, Liverpool getting, than Kane. But as I said, if we were to purchase him, where would he probably fit in? Because would he play one of the top three, or would he play in the midfield? One of the top three. You think?
One of the top three. He's got to play one of the top three for me. Got to be one of the top three.
I think I've got two really good, interesting Spurs fans as well that obviously love their team. One's a fake one. He supports NFL, but says he supports Spurs. I think he's watching it. Good evening, Pipes. I see you on the comment there.
I see him. We're gonna get to him. We're gonna get to him shortly.
I think we should make. I think we should make a bid for Son. Give him £1 and a bag of chips. I think he'll come.
Don't forget the spoon vinegar. 007. He says players want to come to our club, but they're not going to accept getting paid 100k less than what they can get in the German league, just like Mané. Some fans are sleepwalking it into the abyss. Klopp staying. Diaz, Nunes, and Anthony. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. This Anthony guy is on stuff. He is on crack, man. This guy's got some skills. I'm like, yo, this guy's serious. He is serious business, man. I'm telling you. That wouldn't be a bad front three for me. That wouldn't be a bad front three at all. But I think if I look at that front three, the majority of goals would be resting on Nunez's shoulders.
Yeah. Sorry, going back to the previous comment, overconfidence due to Klopp staying. We've all seen how Arsenal have folded when Wenger went. We've all seen how United folded when Ferguson went. The manager and the coach is literally the wheel of a ship at a club, and we are very fortunate to have Klopp. Any other club in world football, apart from Pep, would love to have Klopp there. So yeah, you know what? We are confident because in Klopp we trust. We know exactly what he does to his team. So yeah, we are confident because of Klopp.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pipes is saying Kane's lost us a lot. He's off the high game. You're not getting paid, and you're not getting started. Okay.
Okay.
And 007 is agreeing with him as well.
That's good.
Okay. Marvelous to say it's 8 million Nunez now. Okay.
It's relative in football terms, though, isn't it?
Chelsea are going to bid 100 million for Salah in this window.
Listen, if Chelsea did do that, then see you later. I will pack his bags myself. 100 million.
That would be.
Listen, I'll put him down to Stamford Bridge.
Me too.
Yeah.
And literally, I'll actually piggyback him down. 100%. 100 million. See you later.
Do we think FSG would accept?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
100%.
I do.
Mark was saying, Son, you look at 120 million. He just signed a new 5-year deal. I'm never going to pay that for him. He's 29.
Yeah, you're not getting 120 mil for Son, and as you said, we know that Levy is a stern man, and he always wants the best figures for any of the players there. But we could sway his head. Thank you, Pipes, for your comment. I appreciate that, sir.
He says, "Stop it, Tony. We can't get none of them." If they want to win trophies, Pipes, they'll know where to come, son. 100 million for Salah. He said, "I take it now because we won't get that chance again," which is very true. If he signs a new deal, if you wanted to sell him in 10 years' time, we still get 100 million for him due to the commercial value he brings to a club.
Interesting.
About there. I would still want to keep him
for 100 mil.
Jesus, no,
it's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money.
The magic mushrooms must be strong. Son is gettable. Son signed a new deal just last year when Spurs was in a mess. Drink some more and get back to reality. Yeah, but
and you know what, I'm
win trophies, bruv.
And you know what, I'm so glad about that. And as you said, I do not know the ins and outs of that contract at all. And he said, Pipes 71. And all reality, I mean, he's supported Spurs through thick and thin. He's an historian. He knows the club really well. But when players actually sign contracts, we don't know what's in those contracts. That contract could mean if someone makes a bid from a bigger club, then that player has to be sold. And let's not get it twisted. Spurs and Liverpool, that's drinking champagne and Cristal, completely different ends of the spectrum here, right? But also, we don't know the ins and outs of those as well. It could be that a certain price can trigger that sale as well. So as much as some in that contract, that really don't mean much. It really doesn't.
Pipes is saying trophies incoming. Don't worry about that. In Don Antonio, we try. Yo, bro, we've been hearing this for seasons upon seasons, bro. There's always a trophy coming, always, and still nothing. Still nothing. There's nothing but dust in the cabinet, bro. I swear, listen, the safest person at your club is probably the cleaner. She's probably the safest person because she's guaranteed employment. Guaranteed. Trust me. Paying that for season. I'm not saying if we get that 100 million, we can get 3 players in for that. I'm not sure about that in today's market. Maybe 2.
No, that's actually quite good in terms of that, though. I mean, as you said, in terms of players, and it's one of those tricky ones as well, because I'm not saying, and I know on a previous show, Artie was speaking about some of our players that are currently out on loan and what impact they would probably make when they actually come back to our club. So I don't recall any of our offensive players actually being out on loan. I know we got a couple of defenders out, and we got Ojo and Ben Woodburn out as well, as
Nico,
young players.
And that Phillips.
Yeah. So it's more midfield and like top end elite size as well. But is he right? Look, I mean, if that 50 mil got us 2 players of equal ilk to Diaz, then we're in a good place then, really.
Definitely. 100%. So Double is saying we won't get Son or Kane. Levy doesn't have that sort of clauses in deals anymore. He learned his lesson with Modric. Why do you think Man City couldn't get Kane last summer? Very good point, 007. Very good point.
You know why they couldn't get Kane last summer? Because Harry Kane's brother did a done deal on him. That's why Harry Kane's brother wasn't a real agent. I think he messed up in the contracts there. You moving up against Levy, you need to be a big boy, man. But you're right, it is what it is.
Someone, quite quickly before I move on to the next point, gentlemen, someone mentioned another reason why Mané wants to go is we need to blame Man City and Jack Grealish. For that Jack Grealish deal, they said Mané is fuming when he see what Grealish is on and what Grealish has done. He's like, yo, no. I need to have some of that, mate. I need to have some of that. They're saying blame City.
It is what it is.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, hey, like let's kind of look at the wave of football right now. Even 80-90 million, like we just kind of talk about it as if it's a splash in, like a drop in the ocean. Like now, like we're like looking at players now owning parts of a club and literally having like real player power. Literally, those are the type of negotiations that are going to be happening in the next couple of years. So, hey, you know what? Grealish is Grealish. I can't say if he's worth 100 million. That's literally what the market says. But I mean, I would hope that's not the reason why Mané wants to go. I think again. Like Mané has done over 10 years now in the Prem, and if he kind of wants to go and literally kind of experience new like a new environment, like a new culture. Again, with like me, I will be waving to him with a big smile on my face because he's literally done Liverpool a great service.
Of course. All right, gentlemen, time is pushing. So right, I'm going to run through what I've got here. There's a list of 12 players that they reckon that Liverpool are interested in. I'm going to run through the players, give you a quick readout about them, and I just want you to quickly say yay or nay. All right, I'm going to run through. So the top one, and he's a star with the shortest odds of 2-1, is Jude Bellingham. Borussia Dortmund star Jude Bellingham is currently listed as a current favourite to be recruited by the Reds this summer. The talented midfielder has developed into a key player for the German Giants despite his young age. And Echo understands that Liverpool are strong admirers of the England international. The Bundesliga side are unlikely to sell this summer. However, due to the departure of Eric Haaland, Dortmund are reluctant to allow 2 of their most highly rated players to leave in the same transfer window. Which is what we're talking about. So 2-1, they rate that one. Yay or nay?
No.
Yay.
No.
Hold on. Are you saying no, it's not going to happen?
It's not going to happen this season.
Okay, no. I'm saying yay or nay, do we want them?
Oh, do we want them? Sorry.
I was about to come down and put my hand
sorry. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Oh, yay. Definitely, yes.
Okay. Harry Kane. Perhaps a surprise name on the list for many supporters, the Tottenham Hotspur forward attempted to engineer a move to Manchester City last summer, though failed in his efforts as the Lily White's chairman David Lee stood firm over his star man. Liverpool are currently listed as the most likely team for Kane to join ahead of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Newcastle. So
That's class. That is class.
okay, well, Stoney is a no from me anyway.
That's a no from
I know how
me.
Stoney feels on that one. All right, and that's rated at 4-1. So 4-1 again is Jared Bowen, a transfer link that simply won't go away for the Reds. The West Ham forward enjoyed an impressive campaign with the London club, hitting double figures for both goals and assists in the Premier League. Under contracts until 2025, the Hammers are likely to demand an extortionate fee for the 25-year-old. Manchester United, Newcastle, Manchester City, and Chelsea are also considered possible destinations. Yay or nay? Jared Bowen is rated at 4-1.
No.
So no from Greece. No. And Stoney?
No.
Okay.
Definitely no.
Well, we spoke about this one already, so we won't go into that because we know we feel Darwin Núñez. He's rated at 5-1. Next, 8-1 is Serge Gnabry. With talk of Sadio Mané moving to Bayern Munich, an interesting development would be Bayern Munich winger Serge Gnabry heading in the opposite direction. Real Madrid, Juventus, and Arsenal are regarded as being ahead of Liverpool for a potential deal. Would you take Serge Gnabry?
No.
Okay.
The West Bromwich Albion Gnabry, no. But if he, but like if he can hit like the form that he did at Bayern, then yeah.
Okay. And we've spoken about Lewandowski. He's rated at 10-1, but we haven't asked you, would you take him?
Yes. Yes.
Lewandowski has confirmed at a press conference his intention to leave Bayern in the coming weeks as the Polish striker goes in search of a new challenge. Barcelona are long to be the club deemed the favourite for the Tyrant forward whose exit could pave the way for a Mané move.
It's a yes from me. Definitely.
That's a mad one as well, isn't it? We're looking at somebody who's 30 plus
33.
coming on. So 33 coming on a free, he's going to command an absolute king's ransom, but he's also going to score a shell down worth of goals. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't like Lewandowski. So the answer is yes.
Okay, right. So before I continue with the rest of the list, 007 is saying yes to Bellingham. Mark Foster is saying give me Bellingham. 007 says no to Bowen. Mark Foster saying he'd take Bowen. 007 says no to Gnabry. And that's got to be a yes to Lewandowski then. Big shouts goes out to Sharif. He says to Brees the legend. He must have been to one of your concerts as well then. Okay, we're going to keep it moving, gentlemen, because time is running. So, rated at 10-1, we have Yuri Tillemans. The Leicester City midfielder has continued to be linked with Liverpool over the last 18 months. Though rumours over the Belgian being Anfield bound have slowly decreased in recent months, Tillemans is expected to remain in the Premier League, according to the bookmakers, with Arsenal priced at 5-6 to strike a deal. Would you have Tillemans? So Brees is saying no.
No.
Tony?
No, he can go Arsenal.
He's not sure.
No, he can go Arsenal. I've just I was just thinking about that Bowen thing. That Bowen reminds me of. Do you remember when we played? What's his name? Stuart Downing that used to play for us. I don't know why Bowen just reminds me of Stuart Downing. I know I shouldn't say that, but every time I think of Bowen, I just think of Stuart Downing. So no on Bowen and no on Tillemans. Tillemans is a good player, but he's not Liverpool. I can't see him progressing to that next level. So he can go to Arsenal.
007 says no to Tillemans as well. Okay, rated at 12-1, Ousmane Dembele. Dembele has fallen out of favour at Barcelona due to injury issues and a lack of consistency, and he's now set to leave the Spanish Giants on a free transfer this summer upon the expiration of his contract. PSG at 5-4, Chelsea at 6-4 are the two clubs considered to be in pole position to pick up the Frenchman. We spoke about him last week, gentlemen. Would you take Dembele?
Nope.
Stoney?
No. He's got the same body mass and build as Sturridge, Ox, and Keita. We don't need any more of those players at our club. I'm sure they are wonderful athletes and they're a credit to their profession, but we don't need any more players made of bread. Definitely
Yeah,
not.
for real. You need to feed them some dumpling and yam.
Actually,
Right.
you know what? Can I change my Bowen from no to yes? The reason being, you know how you compared him to Stuart Downing? I'm gonna compare him to Damien Duff because I know back in the day Liverpool were after Damien Duff, and like he's very similar, stocky, like I'm saying, all that left foot, he could kind of create, and I think again it's a kind of throwback to kind of that type of era, and again we need something a little bit different in the squad. Do I think he's going to be a starter? No, but again, I think he will like keep like the front three on their toes.
Okay. So Mark Foster's saying no to Tillemans. Double says it's saying no to Dembele, and Mark Foster's saying that Dembele's lazy. Okay, so we keep it moving. This was a weird, but this one threw me. I had no ideas that this one would be in the list, and rated at 16-1, Christian Eriksen.
Okay.
Christian Eriksen has caught the eye during his short spell at Brentford this season, helping the Bees comfortably avoid a relegation. Gary Neville recently urged the Reds to make a move for the Danish playmaker. Both Skybet believe remaining a part of Thomas Frank's side is the most plausible outcome at this stage. Christian Eriksen.
Yes, for me.
Ooh.
He's that locksmith. He's again getting him for on a free, and again no disrespect to like Brentford, but it's Brentford, and again having Eriksen as someone part of a squad that could just unlock defenses, and again like free kicks, again like another person that can kind of conduct play on a free, and I don't think he'll be asking for that much as well. A good player for Liverpool, a good player.
Okay, Stoney.
That's completely thrown me off. I think, it's completely thrown me off. Erik's an absolutely wonderful player, but my only reservation with that would probably be looking at Eriksen, who's 30. I'm thinking of the age of the midfield, right? We'll be looking at Eriksen, who's 30. We'll be looking at Milner, who's 36. We'll be looking at Jordan Henderson. Is Jordan Henderson 29?
No, he's 32. No, Jordan Henderson. No, he's 32.
32.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's 32.
Is it old? Oh, that would be my concern. Is that the majority of our midfield would be at the latter stages? That would be my only concern and reservation. But in terms of a player, absolutely wonderful. But my concern would be that he would almost be a short-term purchase similar to Thiago. Yeah, that would be my own reservation.
But don't you think in this day and age of like elite football, players now look after themselves, so they can play until they're 38, 39, and again, Eriksen hasn't got that explosive pace, and again, he's like football intelligence will not diminish over age, as we've seen with
no. You don't lose that. You don't
lose that. So I think this kind of age comparison, like I do get it with like certain players, but with players like Eriksen. And even with Kane going like back to my like my guy, like okay, he's gonna be 30, but like he's not blowing past people in the box. He's a killer.
Yeah, no, I won't question that. I think if it was as an example, if it were just Eriksen, then I think I'd possibly more be swayed to say yes. My concern is that we already have too many of our midfielders around that age range. So the majority of our midfield is around that 30 plus. That would be my own concern. But I completely respect everything you were saying about the way that players look after themselves. So it's just the age side that I'd have the reservation on.
So Mark Foster is saying, no, the German training is no good for Eriksen's health. And like Stoney just said, he's saying that we need youth in our midfield. So we move on. We've got two more left, gentlemen. Another one at 16-1 is Declan Rice. It seems only a matter of time before Declan Rice moves on from West Ham. to help his dream of competing at Champions League level. Chelsea, Manchester United have long been the favourites, and it's unlikely Liverpool's 16-1 odds will further reduce in the weeks ahead. Would you take Declan Rice?
I'll go second on that.
Yes. Declan Rice is, for me, the best English box-to-box midfielder.
It's a breeze.
Like,
Every time I think we're getting on, bro.
No, seriously.
I
Like,
think we're getting on.
You know what? Like, he's like got that, you know, like, I don't know. I just see little hints of Gerrard in him. Just
no,
wait.
Bro, stop. I swear to God. You need to stop.
You touched a nerve with RT.
You need to stop. No, you need to stop.
Declan Rice.
You stop.
Declan Rice in that Liverpool midfield, he's an engine. Again, like everyone had that issue with like Henderson coming in, and again, Henderson is now again at his latter stages of his of his career. Who else better to literally to actually learn from like Hendo's influence than Declan Rice in that Liverpool midfield? I'm telling you, 100%
You
yes.
got no manners, you know that. You got no manners, bro. You got no manners. I don't care. I keep gonna mention Declan Rice and Stevie G.
Declan Rice.
What are you talking about, bro? Listen, don't believe the hype of what these people do. This English press, they get these young guys, and they name these young British guys, and all of a sudden they're the best thing since sliced bread. He's far from that, bruv. He's a decent player, and that's his lot at the moment. He's decent, and that's his lot. Straight up and down. That is his lot. And another thing is, because of that, he's British and he's England international. They're gonna want stupid money.
89 million for a 22, 23-year-old. Again, like it's not really a big risk.
Sorry, not for me, mate. Not for me. Stoney.
Could Declan Rice be coached to make an adjustment to how he plays? I believe he can, or he could. I do like Declan Rice. My only reservation with Declan Rice is that I think if we were to purchase him, he probably would be looking to play in the same position as Fabinho. Yeah. So that's the only reason why I would say no, because if you look where he's playing at West Ham, he's playing with Souček. Sometimes they're playing that 2 in midfield, the 4-2-3-1. So I don't think the way that we're currently playing would suit Declan Rice. But do I like him as a player? Yes, I do.
Come on, guys, man.
I like Declan Rice.
Come
on,
like
man.
I said, West Ham will want silly money.
No, okay. So we
all take Mount over him.
Have you noticed something? I'm not discarding Declan Rice, I'm not discarding him. I'm saying the only reason why I'd say no is because I believe if we was to purchase him, if you look the position he's playing at West Ham, he'll be playing in the same position as Fabinho. And if it's a combination between the two, then I would always be on Fabinho's side.
However, I think he's got to play there because West Ham, with no disrespect, don't have the players to literally let Declan Rice to be, to actually be free. I'm not saying like, England are the best thing from like size, from like sliced bread. But if you saw how Declan and Calvin Phillips were played in that midfield, they were all over the place. They were
in the two, and that's what I'm saying. They both players that deep.
You talking about
England? They both players the deep line midfielder, which means that
Fabrice, what game is you talking about? England playing who though?
Like almost every single game in the Euros, against Germany, against Denmark, against Ukraine. Like again, like Declan Rice was literally one of the standout performances within that England team. And I don't want to bring other like teams into it, but it was the same thing with Obi Mikel, same thing with Michael Essien. Those guys played a deeper role. No, okay. You know what? That's a wrong example.
This is what you're getting questionable,
Oh, wait.
You're getting questionable, bro.
Hear me out. Okay, so with Michael Essien played as a kind of DM for like Chelsea, but for Ghana, he was a different animal. Literally, because again, like he kind of had the license to actually do things. Declan Rice, if you give him the license, he will create things. And again, I think he's a person, exactly what Stoney said, that I think Klopp can mold him into something very, very, very special. And and again at 80 million for a 22, 23-year-old captain of West Ham, you know what? That shows leader mentality. And again, if we're kind of looking at a cycle at Liverpool with kind of Henderson and even Van Dijk, kind of coming up to like the late 20s for Van Dijk, we need that next cycle of leaders, and Declan Rice is a leader.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
120 million to United.
If we were actually realistically linked with him and you purchase him, I wouldn't be dissatisfied. I wouldn't.
He'd have to prove me wrong.
Okay. Yeah. No. I wouldn't be upset. He wouldn't be on my top list. But if he was to purchase him, I believe we'd give him time, and I'm confident that he would adjust to the way that we would require for him to function in our squad.
Well, there you go. So like Mark Foster says, Rice 120 million to United, and he's saying that's what he's seen somewhere. Okay. So last one on the list, gentlemen, another 16-1 shot. Ivan Toney. Liverpool learned the hard way of Ivan Toney's quality after shaping up against the Brentford forward this campaign. It is his former club, Newcastle, who are seen as the front runners for the English striker at 3-1. Arsenal, West Ham, and United are mentioned as alternative options.
I'll go second.
I don't even know if I want you to talk again. I'm gonna put you on mute, rude boy.
I think the transition that he's made from the Championship to the Premiership is obviously a credit to him, and it's obviously a credit to how he's been coached and managed at Brentford. I think he himself would have liked his numbers to have probably been a little bit higher. I know when he was interviewed quite a lot, and he was asking, what figures he'd like to hit, and I think he'd probably want to be closer to Bamford's figures when he came up. Probably wasn't as much. He's a cute player, very, very, very cute player. I believe with Ivan Toney, he would need to go to another Premiership team before he comes to Liverpool. I think the transition from Brentford to Liverpool, I think will be too much for him. And I'm not discrediting how well of a player he is. I just believe the transition will be too high. So he probably needs to go to another club before coming to Liverpool.
No, I agree.
Totally.
All right, so please go on if you have
No. You know what? Honestly, I totally agree. I think like the step up to and again, no disrespect to like Brentford, step up from Brentford to like Liverpool for like Toney would be a little bit too big. But again, like quality player, I think he's kind of proven that that he kind of belongs in the Premiership. Do I think he's going to stay at Brentford? No. Liverpool, that is a big jump. That is a big jump.
Okay, quickly. All right.
What do you think, Artie? Artie, what was your thoughts on Ivan Toney? Yeah.
I know. I said I totally agree. I think he'd have to go somewhere else first. For me, he'd have to go somewhere else and prove himself there before he comes to Liverpool. Because at Liverpool, he's going to come there and he's going to be a bit part squad player, and that's going to do him no favors in his development. So I think he needs to go somewhere else, another a top 10 to a top 6 club, and where he can get regular starts and do his bit there, prove himself there. And I think then we could say, maybe then, Mark Foster saying he'd definitely take him. Tony, I think in our squad, we're talking a lot of goals. So Mark is saying he'd take him. All right, gentlemen, we are definitely running over our time. So just quickly before we go, the Community Shield. Liverpool will take on Man City in the first game of the 2022-23 season. And that's having won the FA Cup, the Reds will lock horns with the reigning Premier League champions in the annual season curtain raiser. However, the game will take place at Leicester City's King Power Stadium this year. It's being played there because England women have a game at Wembley. So this game will be played on Saturday, the 30th of July. It's the Women's Euro 2022 finals being played at Wembley. That's what it is. Women's 2022 finals. So it'll be held at the King Power. And I think that's only got a capacity of like about 33,000 or something like that.
I think there's two things that's happened there, even though they're saying it's to do with the women's final being played at Wembley, rightly so, no issue with that. I also think that they've probably taken into account, remember when there was the issues with Liverpool and Man City coming out to Wembley, and had all the problems with the train delays, and
Yeah.
they were saying that it should be played at a neutral venue that was actually closer to Man City and Liverpool. I really believe that's what they've probably taken into account.
But couldn't
That's
they find
what
a
I
bigger
personally
ground,
think
though?
it is.
You not reckon they could have found a bigger ground? 33,000? Really?
They could have gone Aston Villa, possibly.
Yeah, Villa Park, you know what I mean? Come on. For me, like, I'm like, come on, man. Definitely could have found a bigger ground for me. All right, I'm going to quickly read these before we go, gentlemen. Fitzwarren is saying we need elite players. Mark Foster makes a good point and saying, was Mané, Salah, and Bobby elite before coming to Liverpool?
Very good.
No.
Very good point.
Very good point. That's really good.
And lastly, gentlemen, before we go, an ex-Liverpool legend. Where is he? Where is he? Yes, ex-Liverpool legend, former Liverpool star Dirk Kuyt is set to make the step up in his managerial career to take charge of Dutch side ADO Den Haag, according to recent reports. Daily News claimed the 41-year-old will be announced as a new manager as early as Thursday. The club just missed out on promotion to the top flight after a penalty shootout. So he will be taking his first proper managerial job, and they'll be in basically like the championship division in Holland.
Well done.
Good luck on Dirk Kuyt. It was a great seventh for us. Got a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to save the quiz for next week, gentlemen, because we're nearly an hour 20 minutes. I'm going to save the quiz for next week. So
And
people do remember.
Sorry. One more thing. I like how you literally just brushed over the Community Shield, Man City and Liverpool, because no one really cares.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you know, you don't really business about that, to be honest. You know, you just, let that one go, man. If I'm about, I'll watch it. I'm not going to break my neck to go and watch it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, peoples, thanks for being on board. Do remember to like, share, and also subscribe so you don't miss out. We will be back next Thursday. Remember, we are here every Thursday. This is what we do every Thursday. We are here. So, Brees, I don't even know what to say this time, bro. Seriously.
Oh, God. You know what?
You're still on probation. Yeah, remember that. You're still on probation. That's all I'm going to say. Some suspect comments there, bro. Some suspect comments. I swear to God, nah. So, Reese, it's been a blast, my brother, as usual. Nice one. Stoney, good to have you back, brother.
Thank you very much, man.
Blessings. And Nana has just joined us and he's saying greetings. Yeah, it has been lively, Nana. I don't know where you've been, bro, but it's been nearly an hour and 20 minutes, man. All right, peoples, we're going to say good night, God bless, and thanks for having us.